story. Let's go to Lamar Jackson. He's having, I don't know if it's quietly a great year. Everybody's giving the MVP to Josh Allen, Sam Darnold's right there. And talking about Sam Darnold, quarterback, he is the only QB to finish with 14 games with a 100 passer rating, the first since Aaron Rodgers in 2020. And wouldn't you know it, Aaron Rodgers in 2020 won the MVP. So there's a small case for Darnold as the MVP. Lamar has a small case. I don't know what to do with Sam Darnold. These numbers are staggering, Colin.
I know what to do with him. Well, franchise tag him. That's what you do with him. You don't let him walk out the door. Again, the Vikings have been a very, very good team for a long time. Most of my life. I go back to the 70s, 80s when it was like Tarkenton and they were getting to Super Bowls and losing with Bud Grant. But they don't have a ring. Don't mess around. You don't let great walk out the door. Is Sam Darnold as good as this year's numbers? Probably not. But he was never as bad as his numbers in Carolina and the Jets. So when he was bombing, I kept saying, I used to say this all the time. Go watch a 3-minute YouTube clip of Sam Darnold. You'd think he's a poor man's Josh Allen. There's talent there. He's probably not as good as his numbers this year because Justin Jefferson isn't traveling with him, and neither is Kevin O'Connell. Yeah. Contextualize it. My thing is I wouldn't give Darnold the MVP, but the fact that he wasn't being mentioned until now is kind of ridiculous. The numbers tell you he's absolutely in the top 2 or 3 class.
The problem.
Okay. Let's talk about this. Because, first off, can we stop just pretending like Justin Jefferson just made Sam Darnold? There was times that Justin Jefferson wasn't playing. You had injuries kind of going in and out in that offense with Sam Darnold. Playing without a doubt, not 100%, like having people go down. And Sam Darnold was able to succeed, play great, and win games. Is he 100% perfect? No. But show me the guy that isn't, or that is, excuse me. And if you're going to knock Sam Darnold for having Justin Jefferson and then knock Joe Burrow for having Jamar Chase, like, I don't understand why we constantly do this with players like Sam Darnold. I really don't. We love to just keep picking and choosing when we want to like bring up the other players, the coaching staff around them, and when we don't. And it really makes no sense. The only time that you really want to lock in to that degree is when you're kind of having the GOAT conversation. Like, it makes sense to really go through a fine-tooth comb and really be like, what did this player have? What did that player have? Look at this coach. Look at that wide receiver. Look at that tight end. Look at this O-line. Like, that all now makes sense because you are really zooming in. Really zooming in. But to have Sam Darnold have this year, like, oh, yeah, he's doing it, but he's got Justin Jefferson. Okay, so has other quarterbacks. When Joe Burrow is having the year that he's having, do we constantly say, yeah, Jamar Chase, Deacon? The only people that do that are some of these haters, or some of the big Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or Patrick Mahomes fans. And I call them out for it too. I go, okay, great. Okay, well then take away Derrick Henry from Lamar. Take away Andy Reid from Mahomes. And that's honestly why I always defend Josh Allen, because Josh Allen doesn't have any of these big dogs or a big-time coach. Patrick Mahomes has multiple all-time greats around him, whether coaching or players. Lamar Jackson, all-time great around him. Sam Darnold, all-time great around him. Josh Allen, no. I mean, Joe Brady, is he an all-time great? No. Amari Cooper, no. So Josh Allen has kind of the best argument. That's why I'm like the biggest defender of him, considering of what he's been given. But again, it's kind of, pros and cons. Joe Burrow has Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, bad O-line, inconsistent running game for the most part, not a good run game, and terrible defense. So it's like, again, that's why you can't just reduce someone's success to just like, well, Justin Jefferson, Kevin O'Connell. And it's like, okay, if we want to bring that up, then we have to have the conversation as a whole. And we have to bring it, because again, we're looking at these numbers right here, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and it's like, okay, well, let's bring up what they have as well. Now, I do believe Sam Darnold's in a better situation. I do. And I believe in Kevin O'Connell way more than other coaches around the league. And I think Kevin O'Connell deserves an insane amount of credit. And the roster itself deserves an insane amount of credit. But to be like, is Sam Darnold really this good? This is the same thing that I kept saying for other quarterbacks. It doesn't matter what Sam Darnold looks like if he played with the Raiders, if he played with the Panthers, if he played with the Giants. It only matters what he looks like with the Minnesota Vikings. That's the only thing that matters. The only thing that matters is, how does Sam Darnold look with Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings? If we were trying to figure out, is Sam Darnold an all-time great quarterback, then yes. We would have that conversation of say, well, how much is this Kevin O'Connell? How much is this? Yeah, sure. Let's have that conversation. And that's why we'll often have that conversation with like Josh Allen, Lamar, Joe Burrow. But again, sometimes when we're not having that conversation, in terms of specifically them, then it's okay to be like, yeah, Jamar Chase has, or Joe Burrow has Jamar Chase. Yeah, he does. Who cares? Like, again, let's just take away all his wide receivers, no run game, no O-line, no defense. Best of luck, kid. Give him a smack on the butt and saying, I believe in you. So again, you have to figure out, what conversation are we having in any given moment? Are we just talking about, hey, how great is this quarterback? Are we talking about how all-time great is this quarterback? Or are we trying to talk about how resilient is this quarterback? Right? Like, you have to figure out, what conversation are we having? And right now, the only conversation with regards to Sam Darnold is he is a top quarterback in the NFL with the Minnesota Vikings. That's all that matters right now. That's all that matters. And my big whole idea of why I thought Sam Darnold was going to be great with the Vikings was specifically because of the roster and Kevin O'Connell. And I said, that's going to work. Because I know how important coaches are to their quarterbacks. But it's like that for every quarterback. Now, do I believe like a Lamar Jackson or a Josh Allen can overcome, or Mahomes for that matter, can overcome bad coaching more than a Sam Darnold? Absolutely. Absolutely. So I would not put Sam Darnold necessarily in that category with the Josh Allen, Lamar, or Mahomes. But at the same time, in the right situation, said quarterback Sam Darnold can play like he's one of those quarterbacks. And that's all that matters. And not every quarterback can do that. You can't just take out Sam Darnold and throw in some other quarterback and get this. Like, that's what's obnoxious when they try to downplay what Sam Darnold has been able to bring. We got a very, 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 and yeah, this is shots fired, very delusional Dallas Cowboys fan who says, oh, the Minnesota Vikings would be like undefeated if Dak Prescott was the quarterback. That's insanity. So sorry to call you out like that, bud. We've had a lot of back and forths, but gotta tell it like it is sometimes. That's insanity. That's insanity. Do I think a Lamar Jackson or a Josh Allen or a Mahomes, for that matter, could add another layer to this Vikings offense? Sure. Can we stop pretending like those quarterbacks are just like casually working themselves through the draft year after year after year? Because that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. Maybe 10 years from now, when you know the pool is so saturated of talent, maybe I could see that happening one day. It's not today. I'm a huge proponent of like a Bo Nix, for instance, and even a JJ McCarthy. And there's exactly like zero reason to believe right now, today, that that those quarterbacks are like on the path to become like a Josh Allen, Lamar, Mahomes. Like, zero evidence for that. The best argument would be Jaden Daniels, but even then, still. So we see what Sam Darnold is doing right now. 2025. And that's the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that matters. He is playing great. He is playing top-level football, and that's all he needs to be able to do with the Minnesota Vikings. So when you say you don't know what to do with Sam Darnold, that's what you do. Do I need to figure out, Saquon Barkley only having this top historic year because he's with Philadelphia? He didn't do this with the New York Giants. Okay, don't care. I only care what he's doing with the Philadelphia Eagles. Why do I care what he did with the New York Giants at this point? Who cares? Let's say he was like on a one-year deal, which he's obviously not, but let's say he was. Would the conversation be like, well, if Saquon, he's obviously amazing, but look how good this O-line is, and A.J. Brown and Devontae. Like if Saquon went to the Panthers or, again, insert random team here, would he be able to have another 2,000 yard year? Don't care. Who cares? What does it matter? I only need to see him as good as he is with the Eagles. If these guys had some sort of like 50-year career, it would make more sense. But they play for a very specific pocket of time, and their prime is a very specific pocket of time. So this constant obsession of trying to pull these people away to try to like evaluate said quarterback, to be like, he's probably not this good. If he's not this good, then what is he doing? So you're saying that if they run it back, if they run this back, they have the exact same team and the football gods let them all stay healthy, you're saying that Sam Darnold would somehow not put up numbers like this? That actually doesn't make any sense to me. Because when you watch the way these games have unfolded, there's no reason to believe that some of these numbers are inflated because they feasted on really, really bad teams, and that the division is really bad. The division has like the Raiders and the Giants in it. And so like, yeah, they got 4 games where they just demolished them. That's not the case here. And when you actually watch the game, you see Sam Darnold making big plays. He's not just calling hike, throw, hike, throw, hike, throw, hike, throw. He is being a gamer. He is making plays. I've talked about this so many times. When we see backup quarterbacks go on a streak, when we see some of these other quarterbacks who are just don't have great careers, but they have a great season or a great stretch of games, you can really point to very specific things. Sometimes it's just a legitimate hot streak where they are just in that zone, and it's like they're obviously NFL quarterbacks for a reason, so they're capable of doing some nice things. And just the stat gods were just like, hey, let's just put this all together in one big run. And so like sometimes you see that. Sometimes it's really just taking advantage of really bad teams, bad defenses, a lucky bounce on a shoulder that then another offensive player is able to catch it and turn it into like a 50-yard run, 50-yard gain, and it's like, well, that was lucky. Multiple passes that easily could have been intercepted, but not. Like, if you really watch, you could be like, all right, yeah, I know he had 310 yards, but like, dude, that was blown coverage. The one play that led to a 70-yard touchdown. Like, come on. That was bad defense. Or he had like 3 throws that easily could have been intercepted, but I don't know what the Packers were doing. They dropped all 3. Like, you could see it. It's obvious. That's not the case with Sam Darnold. And the only reason why you would even look at him as Josh Allen light is just because Josh Allen is just more stronger and more imposing and will use his body like in a more like, hey, let's lay it all on the line. But outside of that, you are seeing Sam Darnold play as a top quarterback in the NFL. And it's an undeniable thing. It's just undeniable. And you can't just magically say if we throw in any other quarterback in here that they would be doing the same thing. If that's the case, then all these quarterbacks would consistently thrive in these individual systems. And that's not the case. That's not the case at all. And there'd be no reason to ever pay a quarterback. None. But we obviously do. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Minnesota Vikings and Sam Darnold and this constant conversation of trying to figure out who is Sam Darnold? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.